Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi, NY. Hi, BC. Hi, Grand Bun. Sherry. Hello. I love that you're changing your channel to the bunny theme for multiple reasons, but it also fits that we're getting ready to go into like Easter and stuff. It's super cute. Like you're just already pre-decorated. I still have to take down my Valentine's decorations. Hi, Ramblin' Rome. Yes, we were waiting on this. It is here. We have got the indictment. And I was completely set up to do 5 completely different cases whenever this was sent to me. And so I do still want to touch on at least 2 of them, and I might touch on more afterwards, but it is here. I'm going to warn you guys, the the stuff that is said in the few paragraphs that this indictment is gruesome and gross and all of the things. This man is not a good man. He is not a good man whatsoever. So, yeah. Bop is running like a 24-hour a day show right now, and, it's got her mods all not sleeping and stuff. I'm glad that you got a few hours, NY. Mm. Yes, Jesus is the reason for Easter. He arose, right? Mm. It was fast. It was fast, Sherry. And honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if very many people even have this at this point because I've not seen it out anywhere yet. So, but before we go into this indictment, before we start talking about that, I'm going to give everybody a chance to come in because, like I said, this was not my planned event. And so let's let the YouTube algorithm do its thing and push out Timothy Haslett's information. And then before that, let's put out a couple faces. So Lacambria Toomer, guys, I had covered her a while ago, and she is a mommy who went missing. She's been missing since August. She is still missing. They still have not been able to find her. And honestly, there's not been very much updated information or anything about her. It's just been sad. We covered her back in December. Really, One Girl Not Forgotten has been the only one that I have seen consistently post about her outside of her family. And, she's just doing her best to try and share, but it's just sad. It's just really sad. And so I want to put her face out there one more time as before we get into these documents and stuff. And she is 23 years old now. She is black with black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen with her child's father. It is not uncommon for Cam to go on long distance trucking trips with her child's father. These trips often lasted days at a time, but her family were always updated, always received calls and texts about where she was. She has not made contact with anyone from social media, from cell phone. There's been nothing, no activity at all since August 15th. The child's father, mind you, her child is 9 months old what at the time of her disappearance, so this is a baby we're talking about. He stated that he dropped her off at a truck stop in Cordell, Georgia. That information was later proven to be false. And so no one has seen her. She has not even used her food stamp card. There's been no activity whatsoever. And she has just been missing. And it's just devastating because her family just wants to know, where is she? What happened to her? And where did she go? And so once again, I just wanted to put out her face one more time and put out her story one more time so that if anybody is in here from Georgia, if you know these people, you can help to share her face. And if you don't know them, please just help to share her face. I'm going to share her flyers again as well. But Dawson, Georgia was her last known location. And again, no contact, no activity, nothing since August 15th. BC is dropping the link to the last video that I did for her. On that video, you can see the press conference from her family, as well as any updates or information that they did have. Now, since we did our video, she was, like I said, featured on One Girl Lost, and then she was also featured on Patrol. So let me pull up what they did here. Okay, so it says On Patrol Live, Missing Georgia, Missing Mom Case featured on TV show. And let's see.
Curtis, what do we got?
All right, tonight, OP Nation, we're going to need your help to find a young lady who's missing out of Southwest Georgia. On August 13, 2022, 24-year-old Lacambria Toomer, she disappeared from her home in Albany, Georgia. That's about 3 hours south of Atlanta. Joining us now is Natalie Wilson from the Black and Missing Foundation. Natalie, I got to ask you, what happened here?
Hi, Curtis. Lacambria has been missing for 4 months now. And as you mentioned, she was last seen on August the 13th. According to her family, her phone was last pinged in Dawson, Georgia, near some abandoned houses. And her Cash App card was used on August the 15th at a gas station in Sasser, Georgia. And sadly, there's been no sightings of Lacambria.
What do investigators say? Have there been any leads at all?
Sadly, there are no leads, no progress in this case at all, and it's really at a standstill. But we believe that someone knows something as to what happened to Lacambria.
I understand you spoke with members of her family just a few days ago. They must be so worried.
They are. Her mother, Melissa, said she just wants to hear her daughter's voice. She just wants to hug her and to bring her home safely. But also, she has a 9-month-old son who needs her.
Now, let's take a good look at Lacambria. She's black with medium complexion, 24 years old, 5'1", 210 pounds, with short black hair. If you know where Lacambria Toomer might be or have any information about her disappearance, please call the Black and Missing Foundation. Their number, 1-877-97-BAM5. That's 1-877-972-2634.
Okay, so just like a brief update on her and to put her face out there one more time. Another case that I really want to put out there again is Breadson John. BC, I'm not sure if you can grab the link for that, or Sherry, any of my mods that are here. If you guys are able to grab the link for the Breadson John video that I did. Again, just a way to pull his face up again. He is still missing. And now, as of 5 days ago, they are now searching the Kansas City area for him. He could be in Kansas City. And so this is a good segue into the Haslett documents, because that is in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. And the woman who he had abducted and brutalized was abducted from the Kansas City area. And so hopefully we can catch some of you guys for the same audience there. With Breadson John's picture and face. Now, this is the only photo that we have of Breadson John. The other one that the FBI had been circulating, we found out from people who were related to him, was not him. It was actually his older brother. So this is the only photo that we have of him. And he has been missing for quite some time. But they believe that he may have traveled from Vancouver, Washington to Kansas City in August of 2022. And so that is where they are thinking now that this investigation could be leading them. There's a couple things that I see in this. In my opinion, that's good news that they are now narrowing down the area in which he was taken or could be, because perhaps they know potentially which relatives have him or are able to start digging more into that, or at least follow the chain of wherever he possibly could have went. If you guys watched those in the past, if you guys would have watched the last video that I did on him specifically, we talked a little bit about someone who has a connection to his family and stuff. They're getting mixed reactions from his family members. Some of them don't want him found. They're saying that he's safe, that this is a family issue, the FBI needs to mind their business, blah, blah, blah. But some of the other things that they are alleging is the fact that the grandfather was being abusive to him. So the aunt kidnapped him and has him in hiding, but they don't want to show him because he had a broken arm or something along those lines. And they don't want the grandfather to go to jail. So they're trying to protect both sides of the family there. It is not right. I don't agree with that. And I think that that's part of why the FBI is still looking. If this child is okay, they need to present him and show the FBI that this child is okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a full-blown search going on for him. So that's just where we're at with it. But this one says Kansas City, Missouri. The Kansas City Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation is asking for help to find a missing child who may be in our area. Authorities are looking for 8-year-old Breadson John. Authorities said Breadson John was reported missing in June of 2022 after members of the community in Vancouver, Washington, voiced concerns for his well-being. The Vancouver police detectives conducted a welfare check at a home on June 17th of 2022, and John was not located. Kansas City FBI field office said in a release on Friday that authorities believe that Breadson may have traveled to the Kansas City area August of 2022 and may still be in the immediate area. The release adds that he has also been known to use the name Breckson. That is incorrect from what my source is saying. They are saying that Breckson is actually his older brother. And so that's some confusion on the FBI side of things. I don't know. There's no way for me to prove that. It's just what my source is saying. He does have ties to Hawaii, Arizona, Washington, and the Chuck Islands of the Federated States of Micronesia. He is listed as speaking English and Truckies and Shuckies. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact police, FBI, and or the nearest American embassy or consulate. And so these photos, again, they're about a year old, this photo of him. But he could possibly be in Kansas City, Missouri, near where the Timothy Haslett case is ongoing that we're getting ready to talk about. Yeah, they all need to go to jail. I totally agree. I totally agree. Hi, Bruno Jones. How are you? There is no reason, Ramblin, that they are protecting an abuser. Um, I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. I really don't. I do know that some of the communities that are like that though, they try to protect their own, basically. So then we come to the documents. So he was indicted yesterday. We watched the press conference yesterday. If you have not watched that video, please go and check it out. It's interesting. It's an interesting press conference, mostly because of the body language, I would say, and the word phrases even, as well as the hesitation around some of the questions. I think that that's more important, honestly, than what was actually said during the press conference. But what they did was they came out to notify us and let us know that Timothy Haslett has been formally indicted at this point by a grand jury in Clay County, Missouri, for 9 different counts. And so this gives us the details of the 9 different counts. And honestly, whenever they were talking about it yesterday and starting to ask questions, the prosecutor was just like, listen, file for the documents and that'll answer your questions. And he himself didn't answer very much of anything. He just basically said to file, get the documents, and then you can know. And so that's what everybody's doing. We're just filing, getting the documents so that we can all know. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to read down through it. I just got this probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes ago. So I have not pre-read down through it. I did skim very briefly. And like I said, there are some very horrific things inside of this document. I would say, even though it's maybe, I don't know, 11, 12 paragraphs, some of the content of a few of the paragraphs is just, it's absolutely awful. It's absolutely awful. And so if you do have sensitivities whenever it comes to subjects such as rape and things like that, this might not be the live for you, and I will totally understand if you have to sit this one out. So sorry, I'm just trying to, my glasses are like, I have that blue light filter stuff on my glasses, and I think it's like coming off on the one lens. I don't know. It's either that or I don't know what's on it, but I keep trying to clean this spot that looks blurry to me so I can put them on and read this. And It's not coming clean. It's gonna drive me crazy, but that's okay. Not you guys' problem. Let me just put them on and we will go from there. Hi, Duck and Felonies. Oh no. You thought you were losing brain cells over there in Alex's child chat. Oh no. I know that there are a lot of people following that trial and it's okay. I can't I have to really be into a case before I can sit and just watch the entire trial. For example, Gannon Stauch, I will be streaming Gannon Stauch's trial. 100% we will be live on that every single day. Um, I will stream Classic and Sincere's trial because those are cases that I heavily followed. I briefly followed the Murdaugh trial, um, mostly through watching Gray. And it was one of those, like, I followed it, but I don't feel like I would be entertained enough. That sounds horrible, but I don't think I could pay attention enough to follow that whole trial because I didn't know and or care about the details that much, and especially as much as they are talking about, um especially as much as they are talking about, like, the financial stuff, I would totally just get bored out of my mind and just lose it. No, not worse than the Toy Box Killer NY. But yes, Roberta, I am so glad he was arrested as well. You didn't know about that case? Yeah. It was horrible. I'm shocked that you didn't know about that case, to be completely honest. Oh, wow, your niece was almost on the jury? That's crazy, Ramblin' Rome. She got down to the final 20. Oh, that would have been crazy. You've been glued to it. Binge the podcast. Yeah. Yeah, you're good with a recap. I've been watching the nightly chats that some people have been having, recapping the trial, but I don't know. Like I said, that has to be one of those, it has to be one of those situations where I'm, like, really into the case to be able to sit and do the whole trial. I could probably never be on a jury because I would probably doodle the whole time or or, like, space out and completely forget that I was supposed to be paying attention, something along those lines. I can't do 8-hour streams. I don't know how people do it, but okay. So let me read down through this document. This will probably be a trial that I stream as well whenever this comes out, and, Naomi Irion, whenever that goes to trial, Troy Driver, I will also be following that one. So, just cases that I've been really invested in, basically, and that I know the details of. That sounds horrible, but otherwise, I feel like I would be sitting there like, I don't know. It's been keeping your mind focused. That's cool. I know that I like to listen to stuff while I'm doing things, so I totally understand that. Okay, so in the Circuit Court of the Clay County, Liberty, Missouri, State of Missouri, Timothy Marion Haslett Jr. versus State. So let's go through this. As far as the indictment goes, count one. The grand juries of Clay, or the county of Clay, state of Missouri, charged the defendant in violation of section 566030. I'm not going to read all the section numbers. Okay, let me just just skip that. Okay, so he committed felony of rape in the first degree, punishable by conviction under that section number and subject to a lifetime supervision. It began on September 1st of 2022 and October 7th of 2022 in the county of Clay, state of Missouri. The defendant knowingly had sexual intercourse with TJ by the use of forcible compulsion. The range of punishment for the unclassified felony of rape in the first degree is imprisonment in the custody of the Missouri Department of Corrections for life or for a term of not less than 5 years. The fact the fact that you can get charged with first degree rape and only serve potentially 5 years is appalling to me. I just want to throw that out there. It has nothing to do with, like, this isn't him getting sentenced or anything like that, but the fact that a first degree rape can get 5 years in Missouri, what are you guys doing? Like, that mind blows me. 5 years? Ugh. I mean, up to life, that's yes, life. But 5 years? No. Unbelievable. Okay, so count 2. The grand juries of uh yeah, they charged the defendant in violation of blah blah blah. He committed the felony of sodomy in the first degree, punishable upon conviction and subject to a lifetime of supervision that happened between September 1st and October 7th. The defendant knowingly had deviant sexual intercourse with TJ by the use of forcible compulsion by touching TJ's anus with his penis. The range of punishment for the unclassified felony in the first degree of sodomy is imprisonment in the custody of the Missouri Department of Corrections for a term of life, or a term of years not less than 5 years. Again, first degree sodomy, 5 years could be the shortest. Yeah, 5 years is not enough. Sorry. You didn't watch any trial. Yeah, it'll be hard to hear, but nothing compared to what the victim had to go through. Her story needs to be told. I agree, Ramblin' Rome. And that's why I'm not going to change the words. I'm sorry. I know that some creators do that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to read it just like it happened because this is what she went through. There should be a federal minimum and they can appeal from jail. I agree. So October 7th, September 1st to October 7th, he kidnapped her and was holding her for over a month, Ramblin' Rome. She didn't escape until September 7th. I agree. The minimum should be 20 years. I agree. If not longer, honestly. So that was the second count. Okay, count 3. So he committed felony of sodomy in the first degree. So this is the second count of the sodomy. And subject to a lifetime supervision between September 1st and October 7th. He knowingly had deviant sexual intercourse with TJ by the use of forcible compulsion by touching TJ's mouth with his penis. The range of punishment for the unclassified felony of first-degree sodomy is imprisonment in the custody of them for life or no less than 5 years. Jeez. This is where it starts to get really bad, guys. Count 4 is rough. So this one is, again, sodomy in the first degree, but that occurred between September 1st and October 7th. Now, mind you, he had his young son upstairs for a lot of this time frame, and she was being held in this basement room. So forcible penetration with an object for the purpose of terrorizing TJ. The range of punishment for the unclassified felony in the first degree of sodomy is imprisonment for life, not less than 5 years. Would not surprise me if one has also found a Jason mask. Yeah. So that was what? 3 counts of sodomy then. So this fifth one. He was penetrating her with a device equipped with electrical current for the purpose of terrorizing TJ. That's also a sodomy charge. That's count 5. He was electrocuting her. Again, life or no less than 5 years. He's facing up to 5 life sentences for these charges. This woman was literally terrorized from September 1st until October 7th of 2022 when she saved herself. She was down to 70 pounds when they rescued her. 70 pounds. I was listening to Hidden True Crime because they've been following this as well, and I don't know who exactly they talked to, but they did confirm that, she was down to 70 pounds, and also they made a comment on their page saying that it is believed that she is also pregnant. Could you imagine? And I don't know if she is or not, that's something that was on their Facebook page. But Hidden True Crime usually does not have issues with putting out false information. Strong parallels with the Toy Box Killer. The average sentence for rape in the US is 8 years. That is disgusting, Red Rock. That is absolutely disgusting. Wow. So count number 6, Class B felony kidnapping in the first degree. Says that in between September 1st of 2022 and October 7th of 2022, the defendant confined TJ for a substantial period without TJ's consent for the purpose of facilitating the commission of a felony. The range of punishment is 5 to 15 years. No less than 5, no more than 15 for a kidnapping charge. So then count 7, Class D felony assault in the second degree. The in between September 1st and October 7th in Clay County, state of Missouri, the defendant knowingly caused physical injury to TJ by the means of a dangerous instrument by striking TJ with an object. So, based off of what Hidden True Crime said, this object, they were told, was a bullwhip. He was using a bullwhip on her. And he would whip her throughout the course of these forced sexual encounters. The range of punishment for a Class D felony is imprisonment in the custody of Missouri Department of Corrections for terms of not less than 1 year and not to exceed 7 years. This one also results in a fine of not to exceed $10,000. So then count 8 is a felony of assault in the second degree. That in between September 1st and October 7th, he knowingly caused physical injury to TJ by means of a dangerous instrument, shocking and or burning her torso. Yeah, who does he think he is? Indiana Jones? I don't know. I know. What he has coming to him in this life and eternity. This woman is so strong to go through this for 37 days. 37 days she was in this torture chamber. 37 days she dealt with this monster brutalizing her day after day after day in this secret painted black dungeon that was in his basement. 37 days. Down all the way to 70 pounds, and then she rescued herself. God bless her for having the courage and the strength and the wisdom to slip out and to run. She is such a survivor. Such a survivor. The things she went through, and no one was looking for her. He was ducking felonies. He was playing slave master, the sick little. I know. I know. I have no doubt that he will get sentenced to the maximum. I have no doubt. I know, and bless the lady who let her in whenever she was knocking. Right. I honestly wanna know how many people went through the same thing. This doesn't sound like something that just happened. And that's one of those things that whenever you stop and listen to what this victim went through, and then for her to say that she was not the only one. She said that her friends did not make it. Who were her friends? I don't think that a woman who has gone through all of this is going to come out lying about other victims. I really don't. Hold on one second. I got a call coming in. Right. Everything points to extremely to a serial killer. Everyone. Everyone. Everything about this does. I want to know too, who are the others? This woman is not going to come out of this horrible, horrific situation knowing that she has proof all over her body, knowing that she is able to send police directly to his door where they are going to find proof all through his basement, knowing that he was arrested and taken into custody. What reason would she have to lie about other victims? I just can't. There would be no reason for that. There would be no reason. There's enough proof on her. No reason to lie. And exactly, that's why law enforcement was tiptoeing around the presser yesterday. 100% agree, Mercy Choke. And I agree, he would have killed her eventually. So glad she got out before she got too weak. You most definitely think this POS has done this before. Me too. Me too. In my opinion, you don't just make a dungeon basement and paint it black and do all of this stuff. You don't just do all of that, for one victim. You don't just do that on your first time. Sorry, but you don't. You don't do all that for your first time. So then count 9, the final count is the endangering the welfare of a child in the first degree. It says that he knowingly acted in a manner that created substantial risk to the life, body, and health of LH, which is his son, a child less than 17 years old, by leaving unsecured firearms in areas accessible to the child. And so that's what that charge is for. He had firearms out where his son could get to them. This child was in this house. He had shared custody with the mom, and he would have this child oftentimes half the week ish. And so this woman was downstairs in this basement being brutalized for 37 days while his young son was upstairs. I hope and pray his son has no idea what was going on, because he's going to have enough emotional trauma from all of this, knowing that this happened someday. That his dad is this monster, this sadistic, horrible monster. I don't think so either, NY. All of those blue barrels were definitely not just there for decoration. 12 barrels came out. They were all empty, but how often did he have barrels come in and out of the home? How often, and why did he have them? Why? So let me get you guys the picture of the woman that they're saying is missing still. And I really wonder if this is the friend. if this could be one of the friends anyways. Let me pull up her picture. Now police are looking for her as a potential witness in this case, they're saying. I just don't know, how did she get there as a potential witness? Did she know? Did she know the family? Did she know him? Did he meet her on the streets? Did she know the victim? Did she connect him to the victim? Or is this someone who was taken as well? Is this someone this monster harmed too? So here is the picture of her. So this is her. And her last known whereabouts were Kansas City, Missouri. She's 36 years old. I did find an old Facebook account for her, so that you guys could see some other pictures of her. They are a little bit older. But I just wanna know the connection. Oops. I have a bad feeling she's a victim too, Basie. This is some pictures from her, old Facebook. So these are, like, 10 years ago. Oops. I don't know why she got a picture of just what, her ring there. But to give you another idea of what her hair could look like in a different way, basically. Oh, yeah, Red Rock. His social media is all full of white supremacy crap. And I think the thing that angers me the most about this whole situation, about all of it, is there was somebody trying to raise a red flag about women going missing from their area. And it was completely brushed off. It was completely brushed off. The yeah, all the cars that they towed out, they did tow out multiple cars. I think there was, ooh, I think she said 13 maybe with trunks, right? So he was unemployed. He had been terminated. I think he worked for the railroad. I would have to go back to the older videos. Yeah, Lacambria tumor. Sorry about that. Okay. Um, Let me go back to the old videos because hold on, I can get you. Mm, Let me look for. There was a lot of people that were on TikTok that were talking about him and like past employees and different things like that. And so I'm trying to find where that was talked about. Give me just a second. But so another thing that Hidden True Crime was talking about last night was the fact that so remember we keep talking about whenever he was arrested, that people were saying that he had his son and had just dropped his son off at school. That's not true. And so we have been talking about that, the fact that, the son wasn't there. Actually, when he was arrested, she said that he had a vial of urine taped to the side of his leg and that he was on his way for a drug test. And it's believed that it was for custody because they were fighting for custody of the child. And since he has been in jail, he actually had the nerve to write a 7-page letter about why the judge should still allow him contact with his son. Here's the video I was looking for yesterday. They stay aware in their neighborhoods, in their communities. And so this is the video that they had initially put out, and then there's a follow-up post as well.
I am a little upset right now. The reason I'm upset is because we got 4 young ladies that have been murdered within the last week here off of 85th and Prospect. We got a serial killer again, and ain't nobody saying nothing. The media is not covering it. We got 3 young ladies that are missing. Ain't nobody saying a word. What is the problem? Why can't we get some cooperation? Where's our community leaders? Where's our activists? Where's our public officials? Where's our police department? Where is those folks at? In President Gardens. Come on now. We need to start knocking doors. We need to start making sure that this is brought to the light. We cannot continue to let this happen. I am a
Okay, so this TikTok video was put out by the Kansas City Defender on September 25th. And on September 26th, there was an article put out by the news saying, there is no serial killer. Police have no reason to suspect that, and that they don't have any information saying that there was deceased people or missing people basically in that area. They completely dismissed all of these claims. So in the side post here, it says, we have received information from numerous community members, that there is a serial killer currently on the loose in Kansas City. Community members say 4 Black girls have been murdered and 3 are missing in the past week. We are working to confirm and verify all of the information as we can. Please know we take these matters seriously and we only want to report facts and not fearmonger. However, given the very serious nature of the matter, we believe it's critical to report this. Again, as a Black news outlet, it is deeply important to us that we do not report misinformation. So we will update you as more facts come out. Hundreds of people across the city have shared the below information on Facebook public announcement. There is a serial killer in Kansas City. There have been 4 bodies picked up in the area of 85th and Prospect since Tuesday. The police have said nothing, and I feel like the public should know. Please share and check on your family. Until we get more community members stay cautious with increased alert and safety. Okay, so there was that, and then here is the videos from the guy who worked with him. So let me get you these.
Well, by now, I think most everybody has heard about the Excelsior Springs case, the kidnapping and held hostage situation by the woman who escaped the house on Friday. What you may not know is that the suspect, Timothy Haslett Jr., used to work at a place called Union Pacific Railroad. He just so happened to be my foreman on a rail gang that I worked on at Union Pacific Railroad, and I kept in touch with him. So for the last 8 years, I've known this person, and I will say he was very, very, very unhinged. Even back then, he was always on edge. He was very just conspiracy theorist, opinionated, the whole bit. Well, around the time of COVID, he started becoming much, much more politicized and opinionated online. A lot of this stuff looked like financial reform, conspiracy theory, right-wing nut stuff. Not the typical QAnon, but supporting a lot of Donald Trump, that sort of thing. Where the red flags started to appear, and where I started to grow concerned, was when I posted something criticizing the abortion laws that were taking place in the country post Roe v. Wade overturning, specifically dealing with exemptions for rape and the fact that most of these laws did not happen. Wouldn't you know, this person came on here, Mr. Haslett, and started chiming in about how he could care less about something that impacted 1% of women. He proceeded to get into an argument with my mom, and he even called my sister a bitch. It was very clear that he had a lot of hate and vitriol towards women. In fact, I have screenshots of posts over the last year that very clearly show how much he despised them. And the most disturbing post of all was on September 16th, which, you know what was going on during September. He posted, and I quote, "A mother will love you for your benefit, for her son's benefit, and put all her love into it, whereas a woman will only love you for her benefit." That post really sent chills down my spine. What was he thinking in that moment? Here's somebody who I could see being aggressive and probably being like this towards women. But I don't know that I could fathom him being what it looks like he is, and that's a serial killer. So I think back to when I knew him and wonder, what did I see back then and what did I miss? The truth is, not much when I knew him personally, but we all missed a lot in the last year. That's it.
Name an annoying thing that
I need to follow the I need to find the other one because he has another one where he talks about it. I think no. But yes, he worked with him. He worked with him. They were friends on social media, and he does show the screenshots and stuff of the posts that he's talking about. I think this is it right here.
All right. You guys said you wanted screenshots and some other things, so it was a pretty good update. First, before I get into it, I do want to say I have spoken with the Excelsior Springs Police Department. They asked me some basic questions. I'm not going to disclose what was asked. What I will say is that the nature of their questions and the relevant follow-up questions definitely paint a picture that there are things yet to be disclosed to the general public. Not going to go into any more detail on that. Just know there's a lot yet to come. Obviously, it couldn't be confirmed, but questions asked a certain kind of way just lead you to a very obvious conclusion. That's Occam's razor in a nutshell. So without further ado, let's get to some of the stuff you guys wanted. So this first one is the post that I talked about in the first.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it and read it to you. It says, these are posts from Tim Haslett. It says, every time I read a story about civil asset forfeiture, it makes it really, really hard to show any support for the police. For F's sake, I don't understand why people are okay with this.
Name an annoying thing that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So without further ado,
Scroll, and you cannot scroll on a TikTok video. Just so you guys know. Okay, so this one says, no woman will ever love you the way your mother did. Everything that a woman puts into you is for her survival, but everything your mother puts into you is for your survival. And it says, I encourage you people to share this post with others in case someone else received a form CP12 from the IRS. They may need to know this. So that was just about taxes. So okay, so that's those ones. Let me press play again.
so this first one is the post that I talked about in the first video. I feel like it's a good illustration of his mindset at the time that he actually had the victim that we know about.
Okay, so this one was a post that he put up, and it says it's about abortions, okay? And he puts this, and then he puts Timothy's response under his post. So Timothy posted, condoms are 99.5% effective. You have the same chance of getting pregnant while using rubber that you do of being raped and needing an abortion. Quaint coincidence. And why would I even bother making a counterpoint to an argument to an issue that is less than 2,000 people a year endure? It's ridiculous to dictate the conditions of life hundreds of millions of people on behalf of a few thousand. Flat out absurd. And why would I bother when I still can't get one person to give me even one single solitary good reason why a woman can ask a man to cut a baby out of her, but asking one to put a rubber on is just too much for them to handle? Chances are, I can't say because of the play sign, complication from an abortion are significantly higher than a condom failing. It's pennies compared to the cost. And there's not one person in this country that is willing to kill others over condom usage. How many attacks have there been on both sides over abortion? If anyone can give me a good reason why a condom is not a more practical alternative to an abortion, and why the world absolutely flat out refuses to hold women accountable for their bad decisions and be responsible for their own reckless behavior. If you or me get a chick knocked up, we don't even get the choice one way or another. Don't matter how unprepared we are or what our financial situation, how much we do or don't want he cut it off right there. And then he says, no, I would be forming the strongman argument because I'm arguing the side of the overwhelming vast majority of cases. You're making the strawman argument by trying to force the majority of people to exist in a box that only affects the small minority of people. And don't get men dragged into this. Women are 100% in control of childbirth. We don't get any input when you run off to the clinic, so you're not going to use us as an excuse now. And so this is basically, they're just arguing back and forth about abortion, and we're not going to do that on this channel. We're not going to sit here and argue about abortion or not abortion or whatever. But his point is to show how much hatred and disdain, almost, it seems like Tim has towards women in general. He has no patience for women or women rights or any of the things. He just doesn't. And so that's his point behind all of this.
This next screenshot is actually a comment he made on a post that I created. This is the type of person he was. He uses facts, tries to come up with ways to invalidate your point, and likes to use strawman fallacies when he argues. This kind of just illustrates that he was very dismissive towards any type of women's rights issues, and that's how I dealt with him, what my interactions with him were like in the last year. I tried to highlight with him anytime I could that he was using fallacies and fallacious arguments to try to hinder debate.
Yeah, it's all incel talk. Too bad he isn't one, but a rapist instead. He hates women and puts them all in one box, right? Mercy joke. Yeah, he is. He's really hateful towards women. Really hateful. Thank goodness I can't see any of it. Sorry, BC, totally reading it. Okay. He didn't target the general public, warning the population that was at risk is the compassionate thing to do. Yeah. Pro law enforcement, but you don't understand this train of thought, right? I agree, Red Rock. I agree. Type of person he is, not one, right? Not is, not was. Okay. So he says, I have not said one single word about the school shooting at all. Please point to which comment I made that said anything about that. I'm fairly positive I haven't even used the word school or shooting a single time. Tell me again how I'm the one making straw man arguments. My original point was that I do not find it surprising at all that a group of individuals who are of such character that they would have even chose to be a cop in the first place would react this way when pushed by people like you who feel the way you do and use the tactics that you do to express it. I've said nothing at all about it. So like it basically he's so set in his mind and his thoughts and like what he wants to think, and he is just so sure of himself and he's just so egotistical that he doesn't even want to see or have a civil discussion. And so Brian James Locke actually said to him, do you actually stop and consider how much of a sociopath you sound like? You just advocated for allowing kids to die unabated because feelings are hurt. Consider that for a second, bud, is what he said to him. And so he was like, listen, you're crazy. Way back, way back. There was another thing there, but I don't know where it went. It was there and it like unpaused and then it's gone. Let me hold on. Like certainly I didn't click that far past it. Where did they go? Okay, there it is. Ah, no. Yeah, this one's just more back and forth about police and things like that. I think the point is they were fighting about the Uvalde shooting. That's what they were fighting about in that one. The point this guy has throughout this whole thing, though, is just how impatient and ridiculous he is about every thought process that he has, basically.
The Uvalde massacre. Now, the Uvalde massacre hit me hard too. It's kind of weird, but I'm from Uvalde originally. I'm not going to go too far into detail with that. Just know that I lived there till I was 16. That was my grade school. I actually called him a sociopath in this post. Little did I know, right? Here's one from a couple of years ago where he's telling us why he will no longer date. And I actually referenced this one to the officer I spoke with today. The reason I did, this was the last time I could see him talking about dating, truly dating. Not sure if that was his last date or not.
Okay, so this one says, for all of you feminazis out there that claim that women weren't using abortions as contraceptives, here's some facts for you. Since Roe versus Wade, literally since the day it was announced, the number of vasectomies being performed has quadrupled. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what that has to do with women. Well, I'll tell you. Doctors that were pulled for this survey unanimously report at the overwhelming majority of vasectomies inquired about and scheduled by women and their partner. Imagine that. A woman would rather a man undergo a surgery before accepting even a sliver of responsibility for her own actions. Why, for the love of God, why do women refuse to insist dudes wear a condom? It just He's so disgusting. I know. At this point, you're grateful he is behind bars. I agree. I agree. He's just a disgusting, disgusting man. He didn't just wake up one day and be like this. It was always there. I agree. And so you think back to like the bite mark that we seen on his arm in one of the earlier videos that I did. And you think back to the things, and then you add that to the indictment. And you add that to what we know he did to this victim, to TJ, this survivor of this brutal, brutal abuse for 37 days. And you look at his past and you look at all of this and you just wonder, like, how do you get to that point to where he just kept progressing over time, his hatred and his abuse and the the evil inside of him, the absolute pure evil and hatred towards women. And then if you look at his Facebook page, like there's so much hatred towards black women, towards people of any minority, really. And it's just gross. It's just absolutely it's devastating. And so I really worry for this woman that is missing, that they're looking for, if she is another victim. And I worry about how many women may have just been street workers, or may have just been, you know, even homeless or drug addicts, or whatever their past is. I don't care. How many other women has this man hurt that have never been looked for? How many? Thank you so much, Red Rock. Thank you. Thank you for the service coverage of this case. Absolutely, Red Rock. It's so important. I wish more people would talk about this, because there's a whole entire neighborhood of people who have been potentially harmed and in danger from this man. For how long? For how long? I mean, he built a room in his basement, a secret room. Hi, Y, how are you? No, thank you for coming. Argumentative, oppositional, not uncommon with APD. Typically, actually, it's their way or the highway, right? That's why they're usually loners. People who are violent psychopaths evolve over time, escalate, keep escalating until they're stopped. Never stop on their own. They become insatiable. Yes. And why? What's scary is we're all pretty sure he murdered, and we don't see any murder charges so far. I I really do question, for example, he gets a lot of car charges. Whenever we pulled up his background check in the past, he had a ton of traffic violations. And I have always wondered, like, did he get those road rage type pullover ticket situations? Was he on the way to or from a crime scene? Um, like, I don't know. No, I appreciate it. Emily, I agree. This is why I don't partake in arguing about politics or anything else in online comments. You never know who has someone locked in their basement, and you are only fueling their rage. I totally agree. Hi, Kiki. How are you? The neighbor, whenever she was interviewing, she says about him going in and out of the garage and how he would just like sneak under the garage door. He would never open it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Mm, No, I gotta find. But one of the other things that she said was that he would fly his drones all around and how he would sneak in and out of the garage door, which I can't find the one where she was on the news. But let me drop this for you guys because this is Hidden True Crimes video. Please go over and watch it. She has done so many interviews and such in regards to this case. I'm going to watch that once we finish up here. He planned to transport something in those containers. I think so too, Mercy. They need to check every last incinerator along the railroads he worked. Let me find. Sorry. I should have had this up already. I think it was just a regular news. I think this is it. Let me pull it up. You know what? I really was thrown a curveball. I was so set up for the other live stream that I was planning to do. I had, I think, 5 or 6 cases that I was ready.
Hey everyone, this is Jason.
It was like, okay, well, let's go live with the report because I know everybody wanted to see it. So let me pull this up here. This is 12 minutes long. I'm not sure if we've ever watched this, but this is from the Excelsior Citizen. So let's take a look and see what it is.
Jason Cole and Mackenzie, we're here live on the scene. We're getting ready. Lieutenant Dowdy's going to be here in just a few minutes and give us all an update on what's happening. It's been quite a day. I've been here since noon, checking things out, and yeah, there's been quite a lot of activity, and we're not quite sure. There's been a lot of rumors going around, of course, but all we know for sure is that there was a young woman who did escape from this premises and was found, or she found help and was able to get help and taken to the hospital. They've been here all day. Earlier, there was a cadaver dog, I believe, or some sort of dog here on the premises searching. So should be interesting. I'll go silent here for a while, but we're expecting Lieutenant Dowdy to give an update here any minute. So stay live here until that's over. So. Here's all the news crews. They're here, ready to go. He said he'd be over here at 6:50. Officer Dowdy.
We have multiple agents. Just an update as far as what you guys got from earlier. So this is going to be a multi-day process. This crime scene is going to remain in place for multiple days. It is going to hinder traffic flow in residents through this area. We have multiple agencies out here that are helping us. What's getting ready to happen is the Kansas City Crime Scene Unit, which has been great through this entire thing. They're going to wrap up what they've done for this evening. They'll be finishing that within the next hour or two. And then they will be coming back in the morning, first thing, and we'll be going at it again. So this is an ongoing, we continue to find more and more stuff. The dog that was out here earlier that many of you saw, that's a cadaver dog. We can't report on the actual findings of the dog yet. They're going to give us an actual report. As soon as we get that report from them, we're going to let you guys know. So they did come out. They did a thorough search of the grounds. There was a truck that was here earlier. That truck has been moved into an evidence holding area for us. The cadaver dog has went down there and is also checking the truck. So we're just trying to cross our T's and dot our I's on this. At some point, this whole area is going to be secured at this property. We expect to have this property and holding it for an extended period of time. So at this time, that's about the best I can give you as far as our investigation up to this point. You guys are welcome to stay here as long as you want. I just ask that you please be respectful of the residents in this area. And like I said, we will be back here first thing in the morning. I'm not going to take very many questions. If you weren't here for the very first briefing that I gave, I can try to clarify some of those things. Other than that, that's where we're at. Anybody?
Lieutenant, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors. What can you tell us about what happened here?
So this morning at about 7:47 a.m., a woman apparently came from this residence and she began banging and screaming on neighboring doors. While she was doing that, a neighbor took her in and secured her until we could make contact with her. When we made contact with her, it was readily apparent that she had been held against her will for a significant period of time. So we then had her transported to an area hospital where she is now in stable condition. Then from there, based on her statements, it led us to this residence, which is turned into this search warrant that you guys have seen executed right in front of you guys all day today from multiple agencies. And that's going to continue for the next few days.
A possible suspect name has been floating around. Can you give us the name of the suspect?
We're not going to release the suspect. I'm sorry, I meant to give you guys that as well. The suspect is in custody. We are submitting charges this evening. We expect that those charges, once they get processed, then we're going to give you guys the name. So that's all on the prosecutors. There was a group of people out here that you guys saw earlier. Some of those were from the prosecutor's office. So we expect that that will be coming either late tonight or first thing in the morning. And once he gets charged, then we'll give you his name.
You know, I understand that, she ran to the neighbors, went to neighbors for help. Here's a woman screaming, help me. It's frightening then for the neighbors too.
Sure.
And yet someone called 911 and someone else let her in their home. Anything you want to say to those neighbors who played a role and got involved?
That's Excelsior Springs for you. I mean, you guys have probably been out here more than we would like to see you guys out here in the last few weeks and months. But every time you come out here, I think that's the message that seems to rise up, is that Excelsior Springs community steps up, they help each other. And I mean, it was apparent at 8 o'clock in the morning before she went to work, she was willing to let a stranger into her house looking how she looked. That had to be frightening. So
what makes this a multi-day investigation?
The crimes, the nature of the crimes. So it just makes it so that we can't finish it in a day. That's the reality of it. We just can't finish it in a day and make sure that we've crossed all of our T's and dotted our I's.
Some neighbors have been wondering if there are multiple victims.
Yeah, we're not commenting on that at this time.
Is this the only crime scene that you are investigating?
It is.
With the cadaver dog, that suggests that potentially looking for someone who may have died. Have you seen any signs of a person having died in that house at this stage in the investigation?
Other than the cadaver dog, we're not providing any comment on that part of the investigation.
I know you can't provide details, but did the dog find something?
So I can't provide what its findings were preliminary. They're going to give us an exact report is what they told us. And as soon as they give that to us, we expect that soon, I would assume.
But you can't say they found something?
They're going to give us a report of their findings, whether it was positive or negative. So the way I understand it from my detectives is that they're going to give us a report. I don't know for sure.
And my understanding is whether you found some preliminary indication of another victim or not, you would have called the cadaver dog solely based on the statement of the victim.
Correct. Her statement is pivotal. So, and as I mentioned multiple times, we just want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned. So that's part of that process. Again, that goes Kansas City. We've got surrounding municipalities, whether it's Liberty Police Department, the State Highway Patrol. You'll see all of them out here at some point tonight. They're all helping us tonight. So
Do you know how she's doing? I mean, is she going to be okay? Obviously, mentally it's difficult, but I understood she was malnourished and all of this.
yes,
Is she still receiving care at the hospital?
she is. Her family has shown up there and they're with her. So as far as mentally, that's probably going to be the most challenging part for her. Physically, I think she's going to be fine.
The man who lived here, did he own the home or rent the home?
He did not own the home. So he is not the homeowner here, but this is his primary residence.
Have the homeowners been notified about the crime
Yes.
scene?
Mm-hmm.
Are the homeowners family members?
No.
With all of the rumors going around the city, what's your message to the community?
The Excelsior Springs is safe. We have him in custody, and we are doing our best to serve you guys. And then the follow-up to that is please just give us some grace when it comes to this location. We need this area to give justice to the victims and make sure that she is taken care of and that this case doesn't fall by the wayside. So please give us some grace in this area. It's going to be really difficult for the coming days for them to move in and about this area.
Was she involved in a missing persons case or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge at this point. We have had where she is from, that Metro agency has been looking into that.
Where is she from?
I can't say at this time.
Nearby, though?
Are you not charging him yet because you're still waiting for results from the cadaver dog? Or
No, we are just filling out our probable cause affidavits. That's all we're doing. That's all just.
I wonder if that result would add to it, and then you would.
Nope, we'll do. Nope, we're just going to do our preliminary from today's incident.
Is she, I know you're not saying where she's from. We certainly wouldn't want to identify her, but is she from the local area, not out of the Kansas City?
She's from the Metro. Okay. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for your time.
Wasn't sure what that was going to be, but that was the initial press conference. Yeah, he did. He said victims plural, and that was something that we caught and we're really looking into in the beginning. But I did find in the meantime the other interviews that I was looking for, and so these are all on the Excelsior Citizens YouTube page. Very small channel. They just basically started out not too long before all of this, and so this guy was going live to the scene everywhere and pulling all the things. And so if you guys want to revisit or look back on all these videos, this is where they are. But so the pizza guy talks, and then the neighbor, and then the neighbor who took the victim in. And so we can watch all three of those if you guys want. It's probably less than 10 minutes for all three. I know some of you guys have been following this case since the beginning with me, but then some of you also have just came on. And so I think it's important to look at all of this, because we have a situation where not only was this woman who he had, TJ, his victim, was never reported missing. I have to keep stressing that. Never reported missing, and was in this basement for 37 days. But there are also a huge amount of missing people on Kansas City's actual Metro missing list. And so how many could this guy be connected to? They have not come right out to say more victims. They have not, I mean, you heard him say victims in that sentence, but as a police department, they have not addressed if there is any other things going on. And so they just keep tiptoeing around it, though. And I can't help but wonder, this woman that they are looking for as a witness, if they believe that she could be a potential victim of his. So let me play the pizza delivery guy first, and then we'll go to the neighbor who describes him going in and out of his garage.
Don't live here, but your mom lives right here?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, first of all, just what you know about the people who live in this house, or what you've seen.
I mean, I come over here 2-3 times a week just to hang out with mom, obviously. And every time I've come out here, I shouldn't say every time, but often he's outside, playing with his dog. He's got a little drone that he flies around outside, and he always seemed like he was a little weird, but never anything to that extent. Yeah.
And so you mentioned you've delivered pizzas to that house multiple times?
Yeah, so I used to work at Pizza Hut here in town, yeah, and I've delivered to his house several times, and I always thought it was weird when he asked us to come inside to give the tip. But I mean, several people do that, but for some reason it was just weird with this guy, and clearly we missed something that we should have saw.
Did you go inside? Just curious.
Yeah, just into
Yeah.
the living room, not very far in, just right inside the doorway usually.
I really think that he was having people come into his house so that, if he was ever questioned or if anything would ever happen, he'd be like, "No, that guy's been in my house before. He never saw anything strange. You never seen anything, right? Right, pizza guy that I tipped really good." Um, yeah, I still think he used the pizza guy to tell her no one could hear her. Possibly BC, form of torture for her. Ugh, and that's the thing I think that irritated me the most about that article coming out, because whenever they said that, "No, there is no serial killer, there is nothing like that going on in our area," he coulda used that also as a form of torture on her. You can't help but wonder if they found her DNA on site in the barrel the dog hit on, right? I've thought about that, Red Rock, because the dog did hit on at least one of the barrels. It's hard to say. Hard to say, and they certainly are not planning to tell us. The last thing that they wanna do as an agency is come out and have to be like, "You know what? Sorry, guys. You were right. There was a serial killer. We take full responsibility for not investigating it, blah, 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 blah." They're not gonna do that. They will not do that.
Really.
Is it weird? Is it just a bad vibe? Or did
Yes,
you look-
exactly. Just quiet. Not someone that would invite you into their living room and then not talk. People usually invite you into their living room, they want to talk to you or something. He would be silent after I walk in there. He's a weird guy.
Yeah. So I know we're still waiting for confirmation from police, but we at least know they're investigating a kidnapping and sexual assault. So what's your reaction to what we do know so far?
It's insane. I can't imagine that. I can't believe that happened in this neighborhood. Nothing like that's ever happened around here, as far as I'm aware, and it just blows my mind.
Sorry.
Just can't imagine how it could happen.
Yeah, knowing that you've been there and you've been in that house, I mean, how does that make you feel, or what's your reaction?
Since I've heard about this all this morning, I was sitting at work earlier thinking about it. Like, I wish I would have caught something, saw something that was off, weird. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but I delivered pizzas to him for a few years and just never saw anything.
I'm hearing that she may have been banging on doors, the woman that was able to escape, and asking neighbors for help. What do you think about the fact that a woman had to do that, and that thankfully somebody did wind up helping her?
I'm glad that somebody opened the door. I'm glad that she was able to escape. I don't know how that happened, but thank God.
Wow. I'd say a lot of sketchy stuff. I mean, very to himself. Got a little boy, but he has a drone that he would use a lot. But no, I actually just spoke to him one time over the summer. I just went over there and introduced myself. His little boy was jumping on the trampoline, and I said, "Hey, I've lived here 3 years. How you doing?" And just very like, "What?" Kind of move on out. He wasn't about it. Just kind of very to himself. Well, he works on his truck a lot and usually has a car or a vehicle out there. He works in his driveway a lot. But yeah, the garage, I don't know what's up, but it would only usually come off the ground about that much. So he just kind of roll in like that and shut it and then roll back out. So that was odd. I've never seen anybody over there outside of maybe a mother or mother-in-law picking up his child for school. That's about it. But he just worked on his vehicle all the time, home all the time. I don't know what happened in the last couple of years, but it's just been home the entire time. So definitely a little sketchy, a little mountain manish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
My name is Sierra Tharp. I've lived here all my life. I'm 38 years old, and I was the house where that lady luckily came to my door and was brought in.
Just tell us, was it like any other regular morning?
Yeah, actually, I was starting a new job.
Okay.
At our bus barn. I was being a monitor for our early childhood center.
Oh, wow.
And I was on the bus, and my grandma called me, and I'm like, it's got to be an emergency. She's like, I'll talk to you when you get home. And she's like, the police are gone. Well, when I got home, I walked in the door, and I'm like, no, they're up the road. And I'm thinking, what the heck? There's tons of cops everywhere. And she just looked at me, and she said, that's where the girl said she was raped. And I'm like, what? I was like, what girl? And I'm thinking a neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay. And she told me, she said that she was sitting there and a lady come banging on the door and she heard screaming. And she opened the door and the lady said, you got to help me. She said, I've been raped. I've been held captive. She's like, you got to help me. He's going to kill me.
Wow.
And she took a minute because she has, you know, almost 2-year-old in the house.
Yeah.
And then she said, my heart told me that I needed to help.
Wow.
She's seen the state she was in, and she brought her in. She sat her down on my couch and wrapped her in a blanket I had on my couch and grabbed food and water. She was weak, and she had a metal dog collar around her neck and duct tape, which we're kind of guessing that was around her mouth, that she had maybe pulled down. My grandma said she had ligature marks on her wrists. My grandma said it was a metal collar, and the way she described it was like a bad, she called it a bad dog collar.
She said restricting your breathing?
Yeah, it was restricting her breathing. She said that they couldn't cut it with scissors or anything, whatever it was made out of. And she said that they did cut it some and they were able to loosen it so she could breathe, but that they had left it there. And of course, she said the duct tape was around her neck.
Yeah.
She flung that door open. She let that dog out and she just ran. And a lot of people, you know, are questioning, well, why did she go to her neighbor's house? And I think you walk out his door, you see my street. So I think she just, you know, panic mode. I need to get out of here. And to me, going down that hill, you can still see that house, but you're kind of sheltered. You know, like shielded to where I think she ran. And then she's like, I need help.
Yeah.
And my grandma said she was clothed. She had some like shorts on, and she said she didn't have much on, but she did have some clothes on.
Okay.
But she said that was the last thing I was even thinking about
of what she had on.
Yeah. And she could tell she's real weak and real hungry.
Your grandmother really did a heroic thing.
Yeah. And actually she apologized. She said, I'm sorry I brought the police to your house. And I said, no. I said, you did the right thing. I said, that's what I would have done. I said, if you would have told her no, her telling him no, that was a few minutes he could have been there and grabbed her. And so she was trying to find somewhere because she knew he'd be back. And then the police came in and she was talking about how gentle the police were. Like she was like, they were so like, they handled it so great. And she said that she did say, she made the comment that my friends didn't make it out. He killed my friends. They didn't make it out.
Did she give any indication as to how many of her friends?
No.
No, she just said friends.
Yeah,
plural.
she just kept saying that because she's worried about her friends. She said she told them exactly his name. She knew exact name, the exact house. But she told me, she said that girl knew her facts. She told them everything she could. She's like, and that story never changed.
So she had said that she had been there since
Yeah.
September?
Yeah, she said she had been there since September.
Was that early September?
She didn't. I don't think she really said.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that your grandmother told you maybe that hasn't been said or should be?
No, I don't think so. I know one thing that's going around is of sex trafficking, and it really doesn't sound like sex trafficking.
Okay.
She's kind of under the impression, and the way she described it to me, it sounded like that she probably knew him. I know the news said no, but
So you had said that that you had spoken with him in the past. You've had some interaction with him.
Yeah.
That hasn't gone well. Can you maybe?
Yeah, I had went up. I don't remember if I was chasing my dog. I have a husky that likes to run, but I was up there either chasing my dog or I was walking one of my dogs, and this little puppy, pit bull, I think it was a pit bull, come running over. And most people, you know, especially here in town, you know, I helped him. Being a dog mom that chases her dog, I tried helping, and there wasn't a thank you. He was very cold and very kind of rude and everything. And that was the only time I've talked to him. But like, I've only seen him a few times outside. And the last time I seen him was a couple months ago, and he's outside his truck, emergency flashers going, and just his actions were odd to me, but not enough that I, you know, it kind of stuck out, but I just went on like, oh, he's creepy. Well, the house looks dead. Like, I didn't even know a child lived there, besides the trampoline. I didn't know there was a kid there until yesterday.
Okay, well, I know your grandmother doesn't want to speak, but she's heroic for having done this and
Yeah.
really made a difference in this person's life and in saving them.
Yeah. I told her that. I said, "You're a hero," and she said, "No, I'm not."
Yeah,
she's like, "I did what I was supposed to." She's
Yeah.
like,
That's cool.
but she's like that.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want attention from it, which I understand. And my only thing, like, I wasn't there, but I wanted the story out there and kind of speak for her. And
absolutely.
And I was hoping if this girl somehow seen it, that she knew that I was thankful. I was thankful that my house sheltered her.
Yeah.
And we ended up taking a care package today to her,
Very
to the police department for her,
That's
because I want her to feel loved and
absolutely.
know that people care. And that's actually one thing I tell people about this community is, they say it takes a village, and we have a village. There is mothers around this town that they're there when I need mom advice or, something.
Yeah.
They're there. That's my village. They love my kid just like I do. Yeah. My husband grew up in the city, and he used to hear growing up people talking bad about Excelsior.
Right.
And now he tells people, I love this place. He's like, I like living here.
Yeah, that's great. I heard you say earlier that you were proud to have grown up here and be
Yes.
living here. Yeah,
Yep.
I feel the same way.
I never wanted to move away, and because I knew we had a good town here, and there's a lot of people here I love. And
Yeah, we're very fortunate to be in the community that we are.
yes.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Mercy. Like I think that it would have had to have been soundproof. I do. It's just devastating. Baby woke up and she woke up the other one. So during those videos, so I'm gonna have to jump off. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, everyone.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Good job. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up because this is definitely not a subject to talk about with the little ones in here. I appreciate each of you guys coming, and hit the like button if you haven't already. Do you want to say goodbye too? Tell them hit the like button and say goodbye.
Bye. And hit the like button.
That's right. Hit the like button. Definitely not a topic for the kids though. So, right. He would have been caught before without soundproofing. I agree. Definitely a prepared area. There's a lot of questions that I still have about all of this, and this is going to continue to be a case that we keep following and keep looking into as stuff comes in. I did submit to follow it on the court system, so anytime that dockets or anything comes out, I should get sent them now. So that's what I'm hoping for anyways. But all right, I love you guys, and I will talk to you all later. Your Aunt Dougie loves you. Bye, Duck and Felonies. Bye, Red Rock. Bye, BC. Bye, NY. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day, huh?
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Hello.
Bye, Y. Thank you again, Red Rock and Y, for the support. I appreciate you guys each so much. So much. Love you guys. Bye.